This is Theo Henderson from Unhoused. Join us for another episode on the other first responders that doesn't get the adequate attention that they deserve. These are the citizens, Los Angeles Community Action Network. They're doing it themselves to help the unhoused community. Something the city fails to do on a regular basis unless they're pushed to do it. And at that time, haphazard. This is Theo Henderson from Unhoused. We're still milling about, and we have watched an exciting, energetic, as you can hear, energetic group of people distribute food on Sunday. In the studios is Monique.
Hi, everyone.
And Todd.
Yes, hello, everyone.
So tell us, because they say that you're one of the big cheeses here. So tell us, how did this come about?
Well, basically, when the pandemic hit, we were still doing some outreach and still trying to find out what folk needed.
Right.
And we saw that all of the services and the places where people usually get food had just completely shut down.
Yes.
Also because people, the stay-in-place order, people were just staying at home, so they weren't coming and kind of giving out food in the way that they usually did too.
Exactly.
So, we saw people literally starving, like just walking around hungry, angry, everything. And so we knew that we had to do something, so we started to get food, get meals in, ask folk if they could donate some food and non-perishable foods too, and waters. Also, we put together some immune boosting packs that was ginger, turmeric, lemon, garlic, just so that people could help fight what we knew was coming. So that's really how it came about, just seeing that all of the services and stores were closed and people couldn't access food anymore.
Yeah, we were also a source for people every Thursday. We had a farmer's market here.
Oh, okay.
And because everyone else was closed, we had to close as well. And so we have a rooftop garden upstairs, and we made cheese and salads and all those kinds of things we put in the meals as well. So that's how part of how it got started. Also, there was a need for our business to do it.
I noticed that farmers markets have returned. Are you guys thinking about bringing the farmers market back? Because I know that was very crucial and intricate, because there's a lot of vegetarians and health conscious unhoused people, but they cannot or don't have their access to the things that you guys are providing.
Yeah, that's true. But on Wellness Wednesdays, we harvest the food that we grow up in the garden.
Right.
So we have salads there, we have fruits and vegetables. So we do still have that on Wednesdays.
Oh, excellent.
And we're still not absolutely 100% into like being social, the whole socializing in big groups. People want to hang out at the market and things like that. So a lot of markets have been very reticent to open. They've not always been successful. They can't have processed food there. So it's like this is our outlet for that. And we've now expanded to 2 days a week instead of 1 day. So hopefully it all helps out as well.
Can we talk a little bit about food justice? Because we are talking, because it's a necessity thing. Many times people talk about protesting and waving signs and things like that. But this is the intricate part of what our survival is, like food. Everyone needs food, no matter what side of the question is on. So why is it so important for food justice here for the unhoused and the people that are food insecure and house insecure?
People just don't have access to healthy food, and we see that this right here, Skid Row, is it's a food desert. There's nothing fresh here. There's nothing organic here, and so we know that that's so necessary to have it. It's intentional. It's very intentional. Folk that are in this area, it's not just by chance. This is something very intentional, and so people, have underlying health conditions and don't have access to healthy food. It's a really important aspect of our work to make sure that we have that here in LA Can.
I agree. What I noticed too is the deliberate method of it, as well as the food markets that they have there. Because when I was trying to stay healthy, it's expensive. Yep. So and especially the food market in other areas,
it's extremely expensive. Yeah, we knew from our food assessment study that it's actually 2.5 times more expensive than the markets that are just a few blocks away. And the markets that have come close to here are also very, very expensive. You can't really find organic produce, fruits or vegetables around here anywhere except here at our farmers market and a few other places. But yes, basically that's the deal.
So as this is growing, because I noticed how quickly you guys had people, such a need was here. Do you guys have plans of an expansion or thinking of expansion plans?
Well, we're kind of monitoring the situation. At the moment, this is what we have capacity to do. If it looks as though we need to be here more days of the week, then we may do that. But at the moment, we're just planning on being here for the Sunday Strong and Wellness Wednesday.
Okay.
Expanding, I mean, so one way that we expand is we take meals out to across, what I call across town, but across 5th and St. Pedro, which is only 2 blocks away, but and several blocks down. But a lot of those people, because they live in tents, they can't leave their place. So we bring food to them. So that's one way we're expanding.
I think that's an excellent idea, because I notice when I do some of the outreach as well, people, because things can happen when we also know police officers or people, things get missing or thrown in the trash and things like that. And one of the most major things that I noticed yesterday, that there's a hunger need, and then there's also a thirst need, as well as like water, because I believe in giving more than one bottle of water, because it's just too hot out there to be sitting all day in your tent, and in one bottle of water you go through it very easily. So I noticed you guys have a hydroponic pond, but what are you guys doing with like the other aspects like water and other things like that? I know you guys do other things. Or what's that about?
Well, the aeroponic and hydroponic towers that we have out there are, they use 90% less water than in-ground, in soil gardens. So that's one way we're trying to contribute. We're also looking at some other new advanced services where they're actually they create water out of air, basically from the humidity, which would lessen our reliance on the groundwater, that stuff. In terms of other water, we give away water all the time with our meals. So we're dedicated.
Hand washing stations too.
Yeah, the hand washing station. Well, that's a water thing. Yeah, hand washing is critical. Yes.
How can we, if people are watching this, want to get involved and help with these kind of things? Because some people are not going to be going out on the protest line, but they are chefs. Some of them have a skill in farming or agricultural, because I just happen to talk to someone that has that. And, I do husbandry or whatever. How can they become involved? What would you suggest for them?
Reach out to us. I mean, they can go onto our website, www.cangres.org, or go to our Facebook page and find a way to contact us. We always need people to kind of help with the food supplies and the water. So if people do have fresh organic fruits and vegetables that they want to donate to us, we'd love to receive it. Money donations too. We need money to help buying these things and keep it going. So
yeah, we're always looking for an opportunity to feature chefs that are interested in creating. We've had several chefs who created signature products for us to sell for this community. And it's always a delight just to see when people from other areas come in, because they are always delighted. They feel like that there's so much hope here, certainly with us, the relationships we have with them. So.
And also sharing recipes too. Yeah. We do cook food. Sometimes we make meals. And oftentimes in community, people say, "Well, did you know that this works?" And so just sharing meals and dishes, it would be really good as well.
Who knows? You might, LA Can might have a recipe book out there soon.
Yes,
that's coming. Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. We all need to eat healthy, myself included, but I believe that food justice is just as important as standing out there and speaking out against the other injustices that occur. And I thank you for your time, Todd and Monique. This is Theo Henderson from Unhoused. I thank you all for listening, and may we again meet in the light of understanding.
So what we doing?
We're about to start. This is Theo Henderson from Unhoused. I'm here in the hub of social justice and change. This is the Los Angeles Community Action Network. They have been instrumental for a lot of victories that is unknown about for human rights for unhoused community. As you can see, we here are in preparation of a feeding distribution network. So let's get the viewpoint and statement from General Dogan. General Dogan, thank you again for joining us.
All power to the people. Oh yeah, for sure, all the time, man.
So I'm noticing behind us we have a urban farm. What's this about?
It's a hydroponic garden, is what it is. And so what it is, it's a system basically where you don't have to water it. It waters itself. Right? And so they got these little bitty little balls. You don't know if you can really see them, but there's little balls right here. See that?
Uh-huh.
And they have seeds in them. It's a little ball of just dirt.
Oh, okay.
And they got little holes in this tall like tower system. And like about maybe 40 holes in each tower system. And you
Okay.
stick one of these little balls that has the dirt and the seeds already in it, right? And it waters it all by itself. Right?
I noticed lettuce is growing out of
And
this
so,
one.
and so, yes, this is a garden that you can just, as long as the water is on there, it grows overnight, which is so crazy. I mean, you can put the stuff in there today, and you wake up tomorrow, you eating salad. all you need is come out here with your plate and your dressing, and something to fight with. You know what I'm saying? A fork and a spoon.
We got some steaks, you know. I'm there with you. So it's like, whose idea was doing this? Because I noticed you guys are really about a lot of types of forms of justice things. For example, food justice. People missed. We're not all protests, and we're not all about yelling this, but we're talking about really economic development and different things like this. So what got this going?
So, I mean, this is part of the fight. I mean, we gotta have our own soldiers, our own military. We gotta have our own garden, our own food. We can't depend on the enemy to feed us during the time of war, right? Or we're gonna be starving mother others.
Go good.
So with that said, we have our own rooftop garden as well.
Can we
You know
take a
what I'm
look at that
saying?
as well?
For sure. I invite you to go up there, man. You can probably talk to my brother Ray right here.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, who's more? He's on the team food, team.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
okay.
But we call it wellness and justice.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
And so what it is justice coming together with community wellness. We understand that Skid Row historically is a community that has been greatly deprived. It's a
Right.
recovery community,
Right.
and a lot of people is either actively in their addiction or they just came out of their addiction.
Exactly.
Right, and then it's an extremely low-income, impoverished community that's
Exactly.
been totally impoverished, and we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have a Rouse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? On Skid Row,
Yeah.
we got stores in our community called the Green Apple, but believe me, you won't find a Green Apple nowhere in them. We got some food with some green stuff on it, which
But
I would
it ain't
advise you to eat. But and then the prices is the highest prices in the nation. This
Yeah.
is the poorest community in the nation, and we downtown is being gentrified, right? And it used to be the cheapest part of the city. Now it's the most expensive part of the city.
And heavily policed, I understand.
And
Too.
heavily too. You got more cops on Skid Row than any other part of the nation,
Yeah, man.
right?
Yes.
Under the Safer Cities Initiative, the city was policing Skid Row at a cost of $100 million annually, right? For 10 years straight, they invested over $100 million in just policing about 15 square blocks of Skid Row, right? About from Main Street to where we're standing at now,
Right,
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 Grange, about Gladys Street.
Right.
And so, after 10 years of policing, before they started, it was a little less than about 200 tents on the street. Now it's 5,000 plus tents on the streets, right? And so we told them you cannot police your way out of homelessness. The
Exactly.
only solution to homelessness is what? Housing.
Housing.
Exactly, right.
It's so simple, but it's like we get so many permutations of resistance on that.
And I mean, they spent more money on Triple H because they really spent $1.5 billion. You know what I'm saying? Just 10 years, just some police. That was a gift they was giving LAPD. Then on top of that, the city was giving LAPD 87% of the homeless budget, which was another $100 million. So how the hell are you gonna end homelessness when you're giving the cops 87% to police the homeless?
Outright ridiculous.
And then on top of that, they was getting another 54% of the general fund, the overall budget, right? So 3 of the top budgets in the city was going to them. And then that don't include all the other little fake programs that they got, you know what I'm saying, like CSP, community, what they call it, community safety partnership, something like that. Community safety partnership program, stuff like that. What kind of partnership we have with the police? The police, the people in the community see as terrorists. You know what I'm saying? We don't see you as serving and protecting our communities. We see you as every time you turn the corner, little kids is running, adults is talking about you. We see you as terrorists because everybody is getting harassed. Somebody somebody's getting a ticket, somebody's going to jail, and unfortunately somebody gets shot. And so we don't need you in our community. We won't even call you. We hate you. Don't even come over here, right? You taking all the money. Here it is. You got people that's laying on the street dying 3 a day, right? In the city of Los Angeles, and the mayor's idea is to give LAPD a raise. You know what I'm saying? This is how we got in this situation by LAPD blood sucking. You know what I'm saying? The community and blood sucking the whole city, basically. You know what I'm saying? For resources that they don't need.
I have a question too, because people.
And then on top of that, before Bratton left, he said crime was down 54%. I mean, not 54, but down back to where it was in the 1950s. That's what I wanted to say. Okay. So when crime is down, especially to the lowest where it is back in the 50s, that ain't the time to give the LAPD raises. That's the time to break it down. You know what I'm saying? That's the time to start defunding them and putting money in other places, because we don't need you no more. We don't need that no more. So why you still putting money into it?
It's not working.
Right. My question is this too: is that okay? But the people always, when they say defund the police, people don't understand that they still have $3.1 billion. So it's not like that they're going to be starving. So second of all, it's like what we're asking is, people are always thinking when we say defund the police, that crime like rapes and murders and all of these things are going to be not taken care of. But the problem is, what my research has shown is that the majority of the policing is not done about rapes and murders. It's done about quality of life crimes, targeting poor people, and so that's a ridiculous argument.
Exactly right. And I'm gonna tell you like this, man. It's the crime in the city, especially like here on Skid Row, right? We have the majority of the police. They got what they call com stats, right? That show where the Part 1 crimes are most happy. Part 1 crimes are, like you say, rape, robbery, murder, stuff like that, right? Those are Part 1 crimes, right? And it shows that it's more Part 1 crimes in South Central, Compton, and Watts, in an area like that, than it is on Skid Row, right? Skid Row has the lowest crime rate in the city, but yet we have the highest patrol rate in the city, right? Why? Right? It's because you're trying to show off for the business people, right? You want to clear areas. Those are the gentrifier police. You want to move poor people out of the area. It ain't about crime. It ain't about, because it ain't no damn crime. Just like Bratton said, crime has been what it was back in the 50s. There is none. So what do? You try to make it seem like something's going on. That's why they create all these fake programs that stop the police spying coalitions, take it out. You're like Prayer Pro and Laser and all this kind of stuff. We dismantling all those programs because we're showing they don't work. If the mayor can say, yeah, we'll take $250 million from the police department, no problem. We'll cut their budget. If you can take $250 million, you can take the whole billion. Give it all. Come on, give it in. Kick it in. You got 3.5 to do what? It ain't no crime going on. Come on, you need to kick some of that in. And so, and when you kick that in, then we'll start seeing a difference in our community. Like you say, you give a person, I done seen gang members, I done seen addicts, you give them an opportunity. You go out there and you get that man a job. That man get a job. You know what I'm saying? Once he get a job, he gonna go get housing. He gonna start paying rent. He gonna buy a car. He gonna get a car note. And once he start getting a car note and a job and start that, he ain't gonna mess that up. He gonna want to go to work because he want to keep his car. He got his nice car shined up. He got his girlfriend riding around there. He want to keep that going on. You know what I'm saying? And so he ain't gonna go out there and mess up. Give a person opportunities, and you will see a change. You know what I'm saying? You put the money in the police, you take it out of our communities, you create violence, you create, a scavenger where we like crabs on each other and stuff like that, right? Because it shows that when there's enough fruits and vegetables for everybody, then everybody is happy. You know what I'm saying? It's a thriving, lovely community, and that's what we want. And the only way we can do that is to defund the pigs. So let's start today. We want our money back. We want a refund.
Well, there you have it. This is Theo Henderson from Unhoused. And I thank you all for listening, and may we again meet in the light of understanding.
Thank you very much. We over here compete with Jay Brown.
Now is he I used to say how I need him. Now it's us. Now it's we. Then most people will turn you away. You gotta get up higher. I don't listen to a word they say because they don't.
This is Theo Henderson from Witty Unhoused. I have a returning guest that was so awesome before, and I'm so excited to have her here because she's making her dreams, her visions work, and it's in action. This is Melissa Asadera, who is with Polo Pantry, and look at right here on a Sunday, the spirit of an ingenuity and just backbone on what has been accomplished. We talked about food justice, and here is Melissa. Say hello to the guest.
Hi, we've Unhoused community. Thank you for listening to Theo. I've been I've owed a lot to Theo to really kind of get me to talk about my story. So I appreciate you guys being here today. So thank you for being here.
So again, for the audience, what motivated and inspired you to do this?
Wow. I mean, I just, especially with COVID, I felt like there were a lot of areas that needed help, and really it was like a video that I saw that LA Can had posted about Skid Row, the Skid Row era basically like not having enough food, and so I think from there I basically just DM'd him. I said, hey, how can I help? And then that's why we're here.
Prior to this, Melissa has been running around giving food to other unhoused places as we would coordinate and connect in different areas, and we were doing a network and we were talking about it. And so this just seems like a kismet experience to have this here. So how often do you guys do this?
Every Sunday for the past, I don't know, like 15 weeks. I want to bring in Alex too, who is my partner in this.
Oh, cool, yes.
Yeah, we basically created the project together that tapped into a huge network of volunteers, of cooks and drivers, basically. So this is like, this is like a culmination of a lot of people's hands.
So when does the big event start? Because I see you guys working like busy bees.
Well, right now it's about 12:30, so we probably should be starting up in like, I don't know, maybe in like 15 minutes. Hey! Sorry. I'm seeing people come in. Come on in, yeah. Your mask is so cool.
I know. Cool man.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe.
So Alex is the gentleman there with power, right?
Yes. So actually, Alex. So this is Alex, and he's the ED for EX.
Oh.
So I want Alex to also talk about like the project we started together. Without him, honestly, this also would not be possible.
So Alex, what happened? How did this come about?
How did this all come about?
Man.
Talk to him.
Well, it all starts with relationships, right? And so knowing Mel through Danny Park of Skid Row Coffee, Skid Row People's Market.
Skid Row People's Market.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We love you, Danny.
Yeah. So it's all relationships, right? And when the pandemic hit, just figuring out how like our community could be of service, and knowing Mel and like the grassroots organizing she does and all in the food insecurity world, for sure, like when it comes to people's basic needs, during the pandemic, food was something that we thought, okay, we could probably help with that. So we started to explore like what that could look like. At first, it just started with like, maybe we could get our friends to pack like 50 meals and then we can like serve, you know? And then we're like, once word spread about like us wanting to do that, then more people were like, oh, I want to cook meals at home. And then, you know, 50 turned into 500, turned into 1,000, and now we're at like 10,000.
10,000?
Yes, yeah.
My goodness.
And what's amazing about what we did was we literally was like at his house. We sat down and talked about like how they could plug in. And so it was just like thinking of like a food program that we could do. Basically what I was doing would almost extend that to like an army of people doing it. So, and then just basically plugging in our partners like LA Can, Street Watch, Cape Town, and then we partnered with my buddy God's Pantry, so that we could get like food as well. So for people who want to cook who don't have access to, you know, like money to be able to cook, we still want people to be able to contribute if they, So,
It takes a village, and every leaf on the tree makes the whole tree. So I totally agree with that. We were talking earlier in a previous interview about food justice, and I was telling you how my mother was one of the people in the civil rights movement and things like that, cooking and things like that for the churches in order for them to eat and go out and do the protesting. She was kind of behind the scenes when she wanted to be, but what she was really important is like a lot of the black women at that time were behind the scenes that never got the credit. and you were saying you was inspired by that as well. So.
Yeah, like definitely like the movement that your mom was part of is huge influence to me. Like I'm wearing this right now, the free like Black Panthers.
Exactly. Awesome.
Which I love to sort of evangelize to people, especially if they're kind of new to food justice, that the history of a lot of food programs that we have in the U.S. really has stemmed from the Black Panthers as well, and also from movements like your moms who are part of like women in church kitchens, in their kitchens cooking. And that's, I feel like in a way, our work honors that work.
Exactly.
You know?
And not only that, for like you have on, we have a program called WIC, which comes out of the Black Panther movement, which is what they always talk about the negatively about Black Panther, but they did a lot of good. That again, here is a community organization program that did it for themselves that now the state has co-opted and then villainized. So what I wanted to word it was like, this is one of the things that when we talk about the other first responders, most people see police officers, which I don't know why we always harp on them, or other nurses or medical. They're important, but we don't solve. This is an important part of our society. It's always overlooked. What can we do to get people to become more involved into this movement?
Man, I think one, just belief, like believing that you actually have power and that you can make a difference, and then people power, like getting involved with your friends or with people you want to be spending time with, and then putting your brain power together to think about what makes sense for you and your friends, what you're interested in also, right? Like, we wouldn't only be doing this if we weren't interested in Black rights and human rights and LA Can's work. If I didn't love Melissa, right? Like at the root of all this is like a deep care for one another, right? And so if you have that with your friends or family, like bring everyone together and like think about what you could do.
Very good. Come on. Well, this man too, I think what's beautiful about Alex's work is the I think kind of like the catalyst for EIC really was a way for people to kind of like almost reimagine what connecting means. And so we've done other projects prior to this, and I think what it really taught me and our friend Danny was to also take care of ourselves. Like we have a we have a
self-care.
But like EIC has been incredible with like making sure that the helpers are also taken care of. And so that's important too for the work that we're doing.
Look, it's fun.
It's fun,
Look at the vibe here.
Music going, I'm ready to kind of dig. I gotta remember.
It's never saying to yourself at the same time as when you're giving back.
We two go hand in hand. So like, you know, like we're constantly learning from each other. The thing is that you and I are constantly learning from each other.
And we've done Unhoused podcast teaching us as well. It's all a part of it.
Yes. So I think that's what it is too, is just those partnerships. And really nourishing those partnerships as well. So.
Do you think defunding the police would be some of the money that's taken would benefit from this, come to these kind of organizations?
Yes, absolutely.
I hope it brings in more average people who are like, I want to help and be a part of the solution. If there's more avenues for people that are funded, right? I think that would be a huge difference.
You know, there's a subtle campaign that's been going on where one of the other activists that goes out and feeds communities on Saturdays, the police is always trying to subtly target them by telling them to move their cars or move the locations because of that. Because partly it's driven by the NIMBYism, because sometimes the NIMBYs have a loud voice and then the city council gets scared and police are in heaven and then they're on board with a lot of the harassment tactics. What do you think we should do to that?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in just firsthand experiences and building relationships and just bringing people into the spaces where everyone else is, right? And like come into each other's backyards and like let's connect and like learn about each other's experiences. Get out of the fear mindset, right? Yeah, exactly. And the othering that we do, that we've been conditioned to do, and so the more spaces we can create for people to just connect, I think is the answer.
100%. And to add to what Alex said, again, like telling the stories from the people that we serve, absolutely. Like, what's made I feel like my work and our work impactful is that I listen to you, I listen to Harvey, to your lived experiences, because you guys understand the lack of resources that are happening out there. And so it's not coming into a space like thinking that we can come in with solutions, but reverse that and basically ask the people who are deeply affected by it and really do our due diligence to completely amplify their voices. Yeah.
Excellent. I have one last question, and I heard a rumor, and it may be true or not, but I heard that, and I have to get you from you first because I trust your source is unimpeachable. I heard that Melissa was out here dancing. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, in about 30 minutes, you'll see the loudspeakers to be on. Not just Melissa, but everybody, right? Everybody. From people who were serving to, man, it's all love, man. It's all love.
You care to comment on that? Is there any video footage on that?
I'm pretty sure this man has video. You can also fast Pete too. So.
Well, thank you. I just had to ask because quiet minds want to know. This is Theo Henderson for We the Unhoused, and I thank you all for listening. And may we again meet in the light of understanding.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Break it back it up. Let's put it in. Blessings. Make it back it up. Back it up. Make it back it up. Back it up.
I'm taking it, it's not Congo, man. I'm shaking the city like haters blue in the face like Gonzo. I'm taking the cake, so let's play, man. I'm taking the game, the game's mine. Y'all notice the change, it's my time. Yeah, I'm new to the game, but y'all might want to say the way. Yeah, like second time. There's no man, I don't choose love. Y'all taking that something like a true love. If you're told me that a man that can dance, man, I'll possibly get down with the two of these man. Now I'm a ladies, let me see it vibrate. And when it's over, you gon' need your bow. Cause I'm a pro, make you bend your back low.
Keep it moving, keep it moving now. Baby wobble, baby wobble. Keep it moving, baby. Baby wobble, baby wobble. Baby wobble, baby. Keep it moving. Baby wobble, baby wobble. Excuse me, you guys. Keep it moving, please. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Let's not hold up the line for others. Let's not hold up the line for others. Let's not hold up the line for others. Thank you. Keep it moving, let's not hold up the line for others. Keep it moving, let's not hold up the line for others. Keep it moving, let's not hold up the line for others. Keep it moving up. Keep your mask on. Keep your mask on. Keep your mask on. Keep your mask on. Keep it moving, let's not hold up the line for others. Keep it moving, let's not hold up the line for others. Keep your mask on. Keep your mask on. Get it while you can. Move back. Get it while you can. Yeah. Hey. Throw your hands in the air right now. Throw your hands in the air. Feel it. Yeah. Scott Storch. Scott Storch in the house. Way to make that track hot. Yeah. LA fans, baby. 6th Street. Yo. We from the Bronx, New York. Let us walk the place. All the cats in the squad got a star in the face. Yeah. Cold world and this is ice. Yo. Bigger for the charm, brother, this is life. Right. Feeling in front of the building, Trinity, yeah. It's militant, they still figure me out. That's what it is. As a young, was too much to cope with. Too much. The BX, nigga. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's impressive. At first I was going to say it's an African violet, but that's not African violet. That's eggplants. Is this rhubarb? I don't know what this looks like. Rhubarb.
Now that might be kale, chard, red kale.
Rhubarb has a very unique smell. To cook this stuff. I hate it.
That's pretty amazing, man. Wow.
You can't beat that. Where you going? All right.
So please join us for episode 28 of Unhoused, the other first responders, part 2.